It's rare to have a chance to welcome an entrepreneurial icon to the set of Biz One-on-One. Peter Thomas, among his storied career, has authored 4 books and is the person who brought Century 21 real estate brand into Canada. He became recognized around the world for his commitment to value-based living. Peter's here today to talk about LifePilot with Jennifer Carroll, to whom he is handing the torch of leadership of this 40-year-old organization. Welcome, Peter and Jennifer.
Thank you, Randy.
So great to have you here.
That's great.
Peter, there's so much to talk about. Let's start with LifePilot.
Sure.
What is it?
LifePilot really is a system of getting to understand what you want to be in life, where you want to go, and what's important about life. So if you can understand that, the earlier the better, and it's based upon understanding what your values are. And hopefully when you take the LifePilot program, you'll be able to live your life in alignment with your values.
And you have been doing this program for 40 years?
Well, 1974 was when I first became aware of it.
And you're bragging about being 80, and Jennifer, apparently he's not actually 80.
No, the oldest living teenager right here, for sure. Energizer Bunny, yes, not 80 in any regard.
Jennifer, you're obviously much, much younger, and you're taking over LifePilot. What an opportunity. Tell me about how that all came about.
It is an opportunity, and it's coming full circle. I actually did the first LifePilot. I've known Peter for 25 years, but 15 years ago I did it for the first time with my late husband and my children, actually.
Really?
Yep, yeah. And my daughter Jessica, before going off to college, did her second LifePilot seminar, and she ended up doing these vision boards. So she took her values, set her goals, and then she did a vision board where she took pictures. She found it when she graduated, and she pulled it out, and she called me. She said, "I can't believe it, Mom! Like every single thing was realized." She had a picture of a little surfboard. She learned how to surf. She had a picture of the exact car she bought. She's like, "I didn't even think about it when I bought it. It was the exact car." And then my son Austin, at the same time, he was like 12. Simple man, had his big poster, but he had one picture on it. It was Jerome McGinley. And under it says, "I want to play for the Calgary Flames." And he was 12 years old, and now he's 6'4", 220, no teeth, and plays for the Stockton Heat and was signed by the Calgary Flames, and he's on their farm team. So this stuff
unbelievable.
manifests.
And I recognize that you're wearing red in reference to
Go
the Calgary
Flames!
Flames. Yes. And for those of you watching in other countries, it's called hockey.
Right.
It's kind of big here in Canada. Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Peter, this is value-based living, and you had some trauma in your earlier years. Did this stem out of that trauma?
Well, I think the trauma you're referring to is losing my son, but I lost Todd, he was bipolar, and Todd committed suicide. When I lost Todd, it was earth-shaking and changed our life completely. And so my wife and I, Rita, we literally went to Switzerland and went up into the mountains. And I had lived my life this way, and I disassociated myself from everything I was doing. Everything was cloudy. You talk to me and I'd answer you, but I really wasn't there. And as I was resigning from all this stuff I was doing, I belonged to an organization called YPO, and we were doing a university, and we were doing a university planning session on my boat. And the chairman of WPO, the World Presidents Organization, was part of the planning committee. And on my boat, I have this book. This is my life book. And it was all about stuff, how I viewed life. And it was never really put together, any package or anything, it was just my life. So he saw it sitting on the counter, Paul did, and said, "Can I look at this?" And I said, "Well, it's kind of like my diary, my stuff, but yeah, go ahead." So he took it, and he was gone for 3 hours. And he came back, and he said, "Peter, will you come and teach this at one of our forum meetings?" And I said, "Well, Paul, I don't teach this. It's just my stuff, But there's something about it, and because I just was trying to get away from everything, that I said, yes, I would. After that workshop, Paul said, Peter, and I realize now he was helping me heal.
Right. This was all part of your mourning process.
Correct. And I didn't realize that as much. And he said, Peter, you've got to get this going. You've got to teach this to the CEOs. We have thousands and thousands of CEOs all over the world. He said, you've got to teach this to them.
Wow.
And he said, you've got to put this in a sort of an order. So Reed and I then went back and we hired a PR firm, an advertising firm, and sat down with colors and organization and put it all together in what we have a 4-hour workshop. And we teach that workshop all over the world. And we went to Bahrain, we went to Paris, went to London, went to Hong Kong. And I really taught this program to billionaires and people who are just young and getting started, but all business people. So we did that literally for 7 years. And in that 7 years, I healed. Right. And I learned that,
From the loss of your son.
Correct. So I learned that if you live your life in alignment with your values, life gets easier. It's never easy to make values-based decisions, but it's better to do that every time you do it. Every time I have to make a decision about anything, my priorities always relate to my values.
And Jennifer, you're now having the opportunity to pick up the ball and run with LifePilot. Are values something that are to be taught or to be really considered, or is it just you're just supposed to figure it out?
It all boils down to the tough questions we ask ourselves all the time, like, what do we want?
Yes.
How do we envision our lives? How do we make a difference? How do we leave a legacy, live our lives to leave a legacy? And these are tough questions. As Dr. Seuss says, sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple. And maybe, just maybe, the answers to these tough questions can be boiled down to vision and values. I lost my husband 5 years ago, and when that last year of his life, I realized more than ever the significance of LifePilot and how living a value-based life is imperative. When I first did the first summer, that I really value my voice and sharing stories and trying to impact lives. And I just feel so excited that 15 years later, I'm now really diving in head first into something that I believe in, and I really feel that I needed those 15 years to live it. I've lived it.
Hi, Randy Lennon back with Biz One-on-One, and today it's Biz One-on-One Plus One. We're so thrilled to have iconic entrepreneur Peter Thomas and Jennifer Carroll, who's taking over LifePilot. So LifePilot is, what is it? Is it like a one-day seminar, a weekend? How does it work?
Well, let me give you a 2-minute what LifePilot is primarily. It's a 4-hour workshop that usually goes from 9 to 1, or some people prefer 1 to 4, 1 to 5, mornings or afternoons. It's very rapid. It's got 4 segments to it. But when you're a kid and you go to school, you learn the multiplication tables. You learn what 1 and 1 is, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, and you know those and you memorize them. Well, the challenge is in life, there is no handbook. There is no instruction manual. People just expect you to know how to live life.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about.
Correct. And you just pick it up from grandma, from pop, from mom, and from school. Bit by bit you pick this up from people, but you never ever actually put it down into 1 and 1 is 2. So what LifePilot tries to do, and listen, this is stuff that goes back to Socrates. It's not new. It's how people have lived their lives over the years, primarily successful people. And what are their secrets? What do they do? So we've taken LifePilot. I guess one big question that everybody has, no matter how old you are, if you ask them that, they sit there with a blank look on their face. If I said, Randy, what is your purpose in life?
I have an answer for that,
Yeah,
but I've done a lot of work on myself.
Yes, a lot of work to get there. There's a lot of people, you can ask them whether they might be successful or not successful, old, young, men, women, doesn't matter. When you think what is your purpose in life, it's a big question. So we try to what we finish with in the end of 4 hours is a way that you can find out your purpose. So how do we do that? Is that we break the segmentation of how we suggest that you can use as a formula for your life, is place values first and foremost. That's the number one thing. Understand what your values are, and how do you dig those out? Well, we have a whole bunch of exercises that you can do that. But it's not complicated. Like, for example, if I'd say most people put their hands up if I said, well, if they were confused, say, well, is health a value?
Right. How many are there in total? Like
literally hundreds.
Really?
Career could be a value, relationships, kids, family, education.
And should I only have 3 or 4?
Motorcycle riding could be a value. You know,
Right.
you can anything you want it to be can be a value, and so we try and trim it up a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
but we come up
You
with.
said you started with 11 and you brought it down
13.
to 4? 13?
I actually started with 3. How many did you have, Jen, when you started? Do you remember?
Probably a dozen, and then I
Yeah,
narrowed
trim
down
them
to about
down.
6.
Yeah,
and
you're-
then when Phil was sick, it even got shorter. You know, it depends on the type of the season you're in.
Well, you can
what
tuck things under. Like, for example, my
Right.
happiness, family, relationships, commitment, all that stuff goes under happiness. Because if my
Right.
wife is happy, I'm happy. Yeah, you know the
The
old
old
happy,
adage.
Rule.
happy
Everyone should
wife,
know
happy
that.
life. So, but anyway, we break the segment down. So values, I look at it like a building. The foundation of your life is your values. Now, how do you figure out how to live your life? We have 4 segments. And the first one is focus. Squirrel, squirrel, everybody's like
Right.
that. People always get, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but they become unfocused. So we teach how to stay focused in life. The next one is teach people how to visualize. Stephen Covey said, begin with the end in mind. You know, a lot of people, like 2 guys will go look at a piece of land, and one guy's like looking like this, the other guy's
Excited,
happy.
yeah.
He's excited. He sees the big building, the other guy sees an empty, full of weeds. You know? So we teach you how to visualize ahead and visualize what you want to become. Like for example, Randy, I would say to you right now, in your life, I'd say, what would the 10-year older Randy say to the 61-year-old Randy?
Absolutely.
That's pretty powerful.
Yes.
You know, so we ask.
It's all about the questions.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we ask questions like that, so you think, wow, visualization is a powerful, powerful segment. The next one is inspiration. Why am I pumped up all the time? Well, because I'm being around positive people, and I'm reading inspiring things, and I'm doing inspiring things. You know, I sort of say I do great things and exciting things, and I create adrenaline, and then I run on the adrenaline. That's like gas. So I'm happy and pumped because I'm doing things I love to do. I'm here because I love to be here.
Right.
I love LifePilot. I love telling the story. I love mentoring. I love teaching. So as long as I'm doing that, I'll do it forever. And the last segment we spend actually 45 minutes on reflection. So many people don't understand how good they really are. You know.
Say that again.
So many people don't understand how good they really are. And sometimes I have to trigger, you know, or we have to trigger that memory in them. For example, if they're not feeling too good today, you run into a hardship. There's hardships, you know, every week you run into something. Well, instead of, oh, poor me and woe is me, think back upon positive things that happen in your life. Think back to the birth of your kids. Think back to your graduation from high school. Think back to when you won that relay race. And take mental pictures of those reflections. And those reflections will carry you ahead to the next ones.
Because everybody has something that they can look back on.
Everybody.
That they're proud of. Where they've done
Absolutely.
something where they didn't even realize they could do it. Jennifer, you are taking over because this poor old guy
Has no energy or enthusiasm anymore. He's just like,
Yeah,
go retire.
and I'm going to ask
never.
him in a minute when he's 90. What is his 90-year-old
Yeah,
going to say to his
exactly.
80-year-old? That blows my mind. It's so interesting because you've been amazingly successful in business, Peter, and now you would never, if you were coaching someone who's starting a business, you would never let them start the business without a business plan.
Correct.
What's the plan?
Correct.
And yet we just end up living our lives and being buffeted along.
Correct. I always
Wow.
look at life as like a deck of cards. So we're each a deck of cards. There we are. Some have got lucky, got an ace, 10s, queens, 10s, jacks. But you know, success, if you look at successful people many times, they don't have a whole bunch of aces. They don't have anything special. What the key to success is learning how to play your hand.
Exactly.
Learning how to play the cards you're dealt with.
It's just that formula where you just go to your values and you look at them.
Easy,
and
every day.
Peter said, no, I want what this guy has, and he's doing this, but no, these are the things I value. So in fact, I'm not going to choose to do that. So that's where the formula
Right.
comes to play. It's, you know, life coming at us, people telling us what to do, opportunities, and we have to choose and prioritize our life
Right.
based just on this simple formula, which is 1 + 1 is 2. Here are my 5 values.
Health, freedom, happiness, integrity.
And if
Health,
it
freedom,
doesn't fall
happiness,
under them,
integrity.
it's-
Do I want to make an investment I'm looking at today? Will it affect my health? No.
No.
My freedom? Maybe.
Yes.
You know?
Perhaps negatively.
Now you're
So take a look at that. So you make sure, does it fit with my values? Does it fit? And if it fits, away you go.
And then your life becomes on purpose.
Well, you've created a lot of value for me today and for everyone watching. Really appreciate having you on. Jennifer, Great
Randy.
luck and success with
Thank you.
LifePilot. Peter, so nice to see you again. Peter Thomas and Jennifer Carroll. It's called LifePilot. For Gord Oliver, watching little family-run companies and hardworking people has always inspired him. And now running 5-point operations allows him to empower literally hundreds of those companies to achieve success. Gord, welcome to Biz One-on-One.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here.
So what about that, watching little companies and giving them a chance to be more successful? That's what your company's all about.
There are a lot of big companies that take advantage of the smaller guy, the mom and pop shop. And we saw that. We saw that from the experiences that we've had. And 5 Point is a combination of 5 founders. And we wanted to provide an opportunity to be fair.
Now, you're one of the fastest growing companies in Canada, according to Profit Magazine.
Yeah, we've been quite fortunate, yeah.
So, in a way, little company based in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. 5 guys come together. What are you doing? What is the business?
Yeah, it's a good question. We focus on exterior property maintenance and management. So a lot of our clients, like BJIS, they're a massive property management company, the biggest in Canada. They look to companies like ours to provide specialized services, and we've kind of carved out our niche market of what we want to offer, what we want to be the best at. And so we do snow removal. We have thousands of properties that we do snow removal for across Western Canada and up into the Yukon. And then again, the idea is to use those smaller companies, the mom and pop companies, to provide that service.
You're kind of like the in-between, the broker in a sense, between large organizations that need snow removal on their parking lot,
Yeah.
and the guy that's actually out there in the truck removing the snow.
We have our own operations too. So we have almost 200 employees. We do the work ourselves in Kelowna, Edmonton, and Calgary. So we know what we're talking about when we go out and do these services.
5 guys come together to form this company. Tell me about the other 4 guys and how that all fits together.
So one of my partners who I've been partner with, I'm 35 and my dad is one of our partners. He and I have always really loved the way that we each complement each other. He's a former vice president of Bank Montreal. He's got that corporate he understands what it takes to work with massive companies. So that is his background. He also retired very young from the bank and started his own wealth management company. We brought him out of retirement to help us when we started growing the way that we did to really get hands-on with 5.2. So that's one of the partners, Gordon H. Oliver.
That's funny because you got the same name. He's
Yeah.
Gord Oliver Sr., you're Junior. It's
Yeah.
a family business, and most people would think, oh yeah, well, his dad, he's taken over his dad's company. And it's the other way around.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really great. And it's an interesting dynamic because a lot of people who, take over family businesses, there's that, this is my dad's company and I'm just working my way in. Well, we're really equally yoked in the partnership of, I know that there's lots of stuff that I have no idea how to do well, that he does incredibly well. And he looks at me maybe a little bit differently because we kind of started this and he had to get involved a little later on in it. The other partners too, we have Jason Ritchie and Terry Jackson. Both those are 40-year-old guys, both very experienced in the field. Terry ran his own concrete company for years. Jason ran his own landscaping company for years. And then the younger one of us who just turned 30 is Kevin Bosch, and he's been running successful small companies, dealing with small contractors, those types of things. So it really is a perfect combination of 5 people when we match it to the business model that we created.
You're 17th on the list of fast-growing companies.
12th.
12th, sorry,
Yeah.
12th on the list.
Give me those
Check
5
that.
Give me those 5 spots.
They're 12. You're 12th on the list of 5 fastest-growing companies in Canada. So, Gord, what is the toughest part about being in business? Is it starting the business?
Starting a business, having a vision or an idea or a dream, a lot of us have dreams. I can't say that I dreamt of being a snow removal tycoon, right? Like that wasn't necessarily the dream that I had, but I had the dream to be in business with great people and looking after people who need maybe that little bit of guidance to carry on and to continue on in business. Starting the business isn't the hard part. It's when you're up 5 nights in a row from 9 o'clock until 2 in the morning doing the back-end business activities that it requires to be successful, that's what people get a little tired of. Running a business is definitely not 9 to 5. It's 24/7, 365. Your heart has to be in it too, and that's where the vision of what you want out of your life, if you match that to a work ethic that you can produce, that's where you can really start to have fun while working.
So you're a snow removal tycoon, and for those of people that are watching in maybe Arizona, they're wondering, what the heck is snow removal?
Yeah, I'm not expanding to Arizona, Randy.
So how do you start a company like that and get it growing so fast?
So when I was 19, I went to the Philippines, and I lived there for 2 years. And a lot of the mentality that I share in my business experience right now comes from that experience. I saw people over there who literally had nothing. I didn't just live in Metro Manila. I went up north where people lived in bamboo houses. And when I was there for the first 6 months and I didn't speak the language yet, I just saw poverty. I didn't see what it actually was. Once I learned the language, which I'm fluent in 2 dialects of Filipino, which is very weird for a big white guy, I saw them, they were so happy. Their communities were happy. If somebody had a need, they would fill it as best they could, and they all lived, and they were a lot happier than when I returned when I was 21. The culture shock that I had coming home was that we weren't as happy as they were. And so that's kind of the whole mentality that we take into 5 Point is, why can we not be a community, all of us making good money, but why can we not be happier? Why can we not share in each other's successes? And if we fail, let's be okay with it. Let's not hide from failure. Let's support each other, and let's be what I saw over there. And that changed my life. Being over there for a couple of years changed my life. And I knew I wanted to start a business because I loved people and I loved working with people. And I found that was going to be a great way for me to kind of build my community. And that's what we've done.
Well, that's a fabulous story, Gord, and so great to have you on Biz 101 today. And congratulations on 5 Point operations.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you so much.